The readings provide a lot of information about interpreting correlations, and we talked about it briefly in Unit 6. Hopefully, this video will help summarize the ideas and provide an example so you're comfortable with the interpretation. Remember, we'll look at three pieces of information: the direction of the relationship, the strength of the relationship, and the level of significance. All of the information we need to interpret the correlation is in the table labeled Correlations. The information in the descriptive statistics table were reported in the results section, but does not require interpretation for an association claim. The correlations table includes both a column and a set of rows for each variable, so the same information appears twice in the table. When we have two variables, like in the example, the table includes the results of 4 analyses, but 2 are correlating the variable with itself and the other 2 are the same. To be honest, I'm not sure why the output is so redundant, but once we wrap our heads around it, the format isn't too bad. That said, we can begin interpreting the output by locating the column for one of our variables and the rows for the second variable. The numbers where that column and those rows intersect are the results of the analysis of those two variables. So the numbers I've circled in the slide are the results of the correlation analysis for perseverance and consistency of interests. The direction and the strength of the relationship are found in the line labeled Pearson correlation. The level of significance is in the line labeled Sig two-tailed. To determine the direction, we look for a minus sign next to the number in the Pearson correlation line. If there isn't a minus sign, then the relationship is positive. To determine the strength of a relationship, we look at the number in the Pearson correlation line. Different researchers use different cutoff values for calling a correlation strong, but the information in the slide is consistent with most interpretations. That means the correlation in the example is moderate in strength. To determine the significance, we'll look at the number in the Sig two-tailed line. If it's less than 0.05, it's significant. In this case, the significance level is 0.003, so it is significant. Okay, but what's that all actually mean? Remember, a negative correlation means the scores are inversely related. As one variable goes up, the other goes down. The strength indicates how much they change. The moderate strength means that the change was noticeable, but could have been more so. Finally, the significance indicates the degree to which this could have been due to chance. Since lower is better, and more specifically a value under 0.05 is considered significant, there's not a high likelihood this finding is due to chance. If you're feeling pretty lost, you might want to go back and review the information in the readings from the learning guide, looking for the explanations for these ideas. When we wrote the hypothesis, we began thinking about the expected relationships between our variables. Given that it was based on the information in the literature review, thinking about whether the results support the hypothesis also helps us consider the statistical findings in the bigger context. If we think about the data in the example, we would predict a positive and moderate to strong correlation, given that the two variables are both operationalizations of the same construct, grit. The results do not support that hypothesis because the correlation is negative. In this case, we could assume that's because of fictitious data, but if it were from a valid data set, it might suggest that the two scales actually represent different concepts.